Before your offices can begin preparing tax returns, each one must first be added to your ProWeb company. Whether your offices operate independently or as direct employees, setting them up in the system is an essential step to granting access to ProWeb. In this video, we'll guide you through the entire setup process, share best practices, and help you confidently scale your user base. To fully set up an office, you'll need to add the office under Manage Offices, complete the office setup, Eero setup, and Preparer setup, and set the minimum and maximum fees at the company level. Let's get started. Step 1. Create the office. From your company level login, look for the option Manage Offices and click Select to access the menu. The Manage Offices menu will display the existing offices you have added. The search option will allow you to quickly filter the office list by office name, EFIN, inactive offices, and demo offices. To access or edit an existing office, use the blue Access and Edit buttons. To create a new office, select Add Office. When adding a new office, the level of configuration required depends on how the office will be managed. If the new office will operate independently and manage its own configuration settings, you only need to provide the basic details, company name, address, and phone number. If you will be overseeing the office's settings, you'll need to review and complete all configuration options available on this page to ensure proper setup. The first section, Office Information, controls the basics of the tax office. This includes if the office is active and ready to create returns, the office name, sales tax to be included with each return, and which date should show on the printed tax returns. The Partner Products section will display the products you have opted to use within your ProWeb company. The product can be selected from the available drop-down, and add-on fees can be adjusted. To automatically add the product to each return, select the option here. Office configuration can help fine-tune how return preparation will go in the office. If a cover page will be included with the printed returns, the choice can be made to which information prints. For bank product returns, the return can be printed with the taxpayer's banking information rather than the partner bank's information. The Scan Documents section from within a return can be toggled on and off. This section of the return is required to use the mobile app and customer portal. This Demo Office checkbox will allow you to create a tax office within your company that is only for demo or training purposes. Offices that are marked as is demo will be unable to transmit, and all tax returns created will have 00 as the two middle numbers. Once an office is marked as demo, it cannot be undone. Digital signatures on the 1040 can add a nice touch to the printed returns. Allowing this will let the taxpayers see their signatures that the office has captured on the 1040. There is also the option to require signatures on every return in the office to ensure all documents are signed before the return is transmitted. Because of the nature of Form 8888, every office must make the decision within configuration to offer it. This form will be unavailable to the office until this choice is made. Display Summary using 1040 View displays the return as an interactive 1040 on the Summary and Print menu. Many preparers prefer this to the standard itemized line view. For printed returns, the office can control if the preparer name prints on the 1040 and if the Eero address will display on the invoice. If the tax office name differs from the Eero name, you can also choose which name to print on the tax returns. If the taxpayers want to see their itemized deductions, even if the return is using the standard deduction, the option to always print the Schedule A is available. The ProWeb software has a few digital signature solutions, including the ability to capture signatures with the mouse. Signature pads are not required for tax offices. However, if offices choose to use a Topaz signature pad, it must be configured before it can be used. Force Verification IP address gives the tax office control over where their employees can access the tax office. This feature requires a technical setup and should not be turned on until the office has been set up with static IP addresses. If the tax office sends the state returns with bank products when the federal has a bank product, the office can be set to default the state returns to send through the bank. This helps to save time during preparation. Tax returns within the office can be set to require email addresses before the return is transmitted. For tax offices that prefer Spanish, the ProWeb office can be defaulted to display tax returns in Spanish. Similar to email addresses, tax returns can be set to require return tags. Return tags allow the office to make notes and filter the client list. Before saving the office, you can decide if the office will have access to specific menus within the program, including the ability to edit fees, edit EROs, edit preparer accounts, and if self-prepared returns are allowed. For tax offices with a larger client base, the amount of returns that will display on the client list can be limited. For offices with a large client list, it is more beneficial to not display every return, especially if the amount of returns is causing the client list to load slowly. The tax returns will still be accessible, but must be searched in order to appear. The Office Designee section allows the tax office to determine how the third-party designee information will populate on tax returns. By default, the third-party designee will prefill to the preparer on the return. However, a specific person can manually be entered to pull to each tax return. The third-party designee can also be left completely blank. The last sections include the office address and office phone. This information should be the main address and main phone number for the tax office. Once you have reviewed all the configuration options on this page, click Save and Access Office. Step 2. ERO Setup. To add the ERO, locate the configuration menu at the office level and click on ERO Setup. From there, select Add ERO. You will need the customer ID for the sub-EFIN. You can find this in your account hub under Manage Locations in the Company Information section. Each sub-EFIN has its own unique customer ID. When you copy it, make sure there aren't any extra spaces and that you've got the whole ID before pasting it into the program. Next, it's time to fill in the details for the EFIN. You'll enter the ERO name and the EFIN itself. For the office identifier, use any name that helps you easily recognize this office later on. Once finished, set the EFIN as the default ERO for the tax office. Every office needs a default ERO listed. Finally, add the address and phone number for the new ERO. If they're the same as what you already entered in Office Setup, you can choose to use that information again. Be sure to click Continue to save your changes. Step 3. Create a preparer login. Every user who needs access to a ProWeb Office must have a preparer account. This is what gives them their login credentials. At a minimum, you'll need to create one preparer account for the office owner, even if that office will operate independently and manage its own settings. Keep in mind, even users who won't be preparing tax returns still need a preparer account in order to log in and access the office. Preparer accounts require specific information, such as the person's social security number and PIN, so it's best to create the account when you have all the information handy. To begin, open the configuration menu and select Preparer Setup. When you're ready to add a new preparer account, click Add Preparer to start the setup process. First, you will need to add the preparer's personal information. This includes their social security number, name, and PIN. If the preparer does not have a PIN, be sure to check the Data Entry Only box. The default PIN number can be any 5 digits they want and will serve as their signature on the Form 8879. If the preparer has a Form 2848 CAF number for power of attorney, enter that as well. The office contact option can be checked if this preparer is the owner or partner for the tax office. If the preparer is just an employee, leave that unchecked. For any preparers who are self-employed and not employed by the tax office, be sure to check the self-employed option for them. By checking Can View Own Returns Only, you prevent the preparer from seeing other returns in the tax office. By requiring the preparer to use a guide, they will navigate the program through a questionnaire system. This feature prevents new preparers from accessing the forms directly and instead will allow the program to suggest the correct forms based on how the interview questions are answered. Any preparer who completes New York or Oregon returns will need to add their New York PRIN or Oregon license number. These are required to e-file those state returns. Next, you will add the preparer agent information. This preparer agent section is only for preparers who have a formal agreement with the IRS, which allows them to validate information for W-7 applications. If the preparer you're adding does not have an agreement like that with the IRS, skip this part completely. Lastly, you will set up the login information for the new preparer. Please make sure you are using the preparer's email address and cell phone number. They will need access to both to successfully log into their account. We recommend checking the box to allow multiple accounts to use the same email address and cell phone number. If you choose a username that is not available, make a slight change and try again. With the password, make sure to include one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one number, and one special character. We recommend selecting the box to require the preparer to reset their password on first login for added security. The standard MFA interval for ProWeb is 7 days. You can adjust this number if needed to prompt MFA more often or less often. The active checkbox lets you know this preparer account is active and can be used to access the ProWeb office. Preparer accounts can be restricted with preparer roles. If you have already created roles, you can quickly add the role onto the preparer account. Preparer accounts with no role assigned will have unlimited access to the ProWeb office. When you finish filling out the information, click Continue to save the preparer. Step 4. Set the minimum and maximum fee. The last step of setting up a ProWeb office is to set the minimum and maximum preparer fees. These settings help you control how much a tax office can charge for tax return preparation, ensuring fees stay within a range you're comfortable with. It is especially important to do this for new offices. By default, the maximum preparer fee is set to $0. If you don't update it, the office won't be able to charge any fees. Every return will be capped at 0. To avoid this, simply add a maximum preparer fee. From your company-level ProWeb, access Configuration, and choose Maximum Preparer Fees. Enter the maximum fee you want the office to charge. Then set the override password. The override password can be used to allow the office to charge above or below the fee limits you have set. You can choose whether to share the override password with your offices or not. Lastly, check the box next to the office you are setting the fee to. Many users set the maximum preparer fee to the maximum allowed by the partner bank for bank products. Others set it at $99.99. You can choose whatever to set the maximum to, as long as it is above 0. Be sure to save this menu by selecting Continue at the bottom so the maximum fee is applied. Once you've completed these 4 steps, creating the office, setting up the euro, adding at least one preparer, and configuring your minimum and maximum fees, the ProWeb office is fully set up and ready to go. Taking the time to complete each step ensures your sub-offices run smoothly from day one, with the right access, permissions, and pricing controls in place.